Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be doing some mathematics, but I thought first I would show you a book that you can use to learn this type of mathematics. This is a book for beginners, and in my view it's probably the best book you can use for beginners because it's one of the easiest. It's called Fundamentals of Complex Analysis with Applications to Engineering and Science, and this is the third edition. It's by Saf and Snyder. And you can see this book is well worn. I've read big portions of this book. It smells amazing. I used this book for a course as an undergrad, and I've completed a lot of the exercises in this book. The prerequisites, so if you want to learn complex variables on your own, the prerequisites would be to, one, have a book like this one, and two, know some calculus. So you want to know Calc 1, Calc 2, you want to at least know how to compute partial derivatives. That would be very, very helpful. And then you should be good to go. And if you don't know partial derivatives, it's pretty easy to kind of like learn as you go. But you definitely want to have some calculus background. Here's a brief look at the content. It starts with the basics of complex numbers. And I'm going to be doing like a brief introduction to complex numbers, but I'm going to do it differently than the book does it. Analytic functions, elementary functions. It's not too hard, it's not too bad. Complex integration, series, representations for analytic functions, residue theory, the transforms of applied mathematics, numerical construction of conformal maps. And then you have answers to the odd-numbered problems, which are extremely valuable. And you can see I've done all of these circled problems, so circled, done all of these. I did all of these, and I did all of these. So the ones that are circled are the ones I've done in the past at some point. I think I still have the solutions somewhere, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it's a good book for self-study, and you have answers again to some of the problems in the back of the book. Also, it's a popular enough book that sometimes you can find old homework problems and stuff like that worked out. And of course, you have AI to help you, although AI is sometimes is confidently wrong. You have to be careful. But yeah, it's a pretty cool book. All right, let's just go ahead and do some math. Let's just jump into it. I'm going to get some paper here, and we'll start doing some mathematics. And I'm just going to show you some stuff. I'm just going to talk about some complex variables here. Let me get a pencil, and we will get going. So let's start off with the complex numbers. So the complex numbers, so let me just fix this here. The complex numbers are a field. Okay, so note C is a field. So a field is basically a set where you have two operations, addition and multiplication. And under addition, that set forms an abelian group, which basically means the addition is commutative, there's an identity element, and every element has an inverse, and the operation is also associative as well. And then under multiplication, you want every non-zero element to have an inverse, and that will give you a field. And also, that will give you a field. The real numbers are a field. So basically, if you mimic the real numbers, everything like the real numbers is considered a field. Everything that shares those properties. There's also finite fields, though, and this one is a field. So let's not spend too much time on fields. Take z, which is a complex number, and so that means you can write it. I'm just going to go quickly here, just a crash course. You can write it as a plus bi, where a and b are elements of the real numbers. And then a here is called the real part of the complex number, and b here is called the imaginary part of the complex number. And I'm just going to keep going, we're just going to cover a lot of ground here. So define elements of C, okay, as ordered pairs. Hopefully you can see okay with the shadows. Yeah, there's a light behind me, so it creates, let's try that. Maybe that's a little bit better. Ordered pairs. Yep, it's a little bit better. XY, where Z equals X plus IY. Okay, so we can define each element as an ordered pair x comma y, where z is equal to x plus iy. So we can think of the complex numbers as ordered pairs. That's the key point. And now we're going to define things in terms of ordered pairs, which is a little bit more uncomfortable and awkward, and maybe perhaps you've never seen it done this way. So I thought, let me just make this video to put it out there so you see it done this way. So we're going to take two complex numbers, and since we know we can identify them as ordered pairs, let's write them as such: x sub 1, y sub 1, and then z sub 2 is going to be the ordered pair x sub 2, y sub 2. Then, when we look at the sum, z sub 1 plus z sub 2, what happens is we basically just add the components. So addition is done as one would expect. So parentheses x sub 1 plus x sub 2, and then y sub 1 plus y sub 2. Beautiful stuff. And now the multiplication is what's going to blow your mind, right? This is where you're going to say, okay, head explosion. So I will justify this after I write it. So we're going to say x1, x2. So we're going to multiply the x's, subtract, multiply the y's. And then here we kind of have like a linear combo of both. So y1, x2 plus x1, y2. You might say, whoa, that's really weird. It's about as weird as it gets, right? So y1, x2 plus x1, y2. So why? Why? Let's clarify why this is the case. So consider if they were written as not ordered pairs. So say we had z sub 1 equals x sub 1 plus I y sub 1, and z sub 2 equals x sub 2 plus I y sub 2. Pause here and get some water. So now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply these, okay? We're going to multiply these. So z1 times z2. So then z sub 1 times z sub 2. Well, let's go ahead and write it out so you can see how to FOIL. X sub 1 I y sub 1, x sub 2 plus I y sub 2. So I like to do these here. So first, outside. So first and last first, actually. So first, x1, x2. Okay, I'm sure you can still see there. Fix the camera. Yeah, the lighting is a little bit better, but now it's hard for me to see the actual camera, but hopefully it's coming out okay in this video. The quality is decent. Minus, so you say, why is it minus? So we did this times this, and then this times this. Sorry, whoops. That's how I normally do it, but we're not doing it that way, right? We're gonna focus on the first and the last, okay? It's not FOIL, first and last. It is FOIL, but we're just gonna focus on these first. So y1, y2, and then I times I is I squared, but I squared is negative 1. So this is y1, y2. Okay, so now plus I, parentheses, now we're gonna do x1, or rather, we'll do the inside. Let's do y1, x2, plus x1, y2. And that matches what we have up here, you see? So this is as an ordered pair. As an ordered pair, let's just be abusive and put an equal sign here. Sometimes it's okay to be a little bit abusive in mathematics. It's understood. We know what's going on. We know what's what. And then y1, x2 plus x1, y2. Boom. That's how pros do it. So you can see here, and again, just being abusive, this is really equal to this, but as an ordered pair, maybe just a little twiddle or something, that is the identification we can make, right? That is the identification we can make. Let me just put which, let's not be sloppy, as an ordered pair is, so when represented as an ordered pair, this is how we can think of it. And how you think of things is extremely important because there's different ways of thinking about the same thing, and sometimes new ideas can be created by thinking of things different ways. Again, that's why, even though this introduction is a little bit convoluted compared to some, this ordered pair definition, it's still a worthy exercise, I think. So that's how you do the multiplication. Kind of cool. I could keep going here, but I think I'm going to stop and maybe make another video and then continue this with some more talk about complex numbers. Subscribe, like, all that stuff, and make sure to check out my courses. They're on Udemy, but if you get them, use my website, mathsorcerer.com or freemathvids.com. And also check out my eBay store. Sometimes I have some books for sale. I'm not selling this one, sorry. I'm keeping this one. But what I will do is, this book is very special to me. What I will do, I'm a collector, so I have thousands of books. I'll leave a link in the description to this book. This book is not cheap. I bought my copy brand new. It's still quite expensive, but I think it's worth every penny. It's amazing. Anyways, I hope it's been helpful. Keep doing mathematics.